Onsemi, and a key Apple supplier, topped results yesterday, and the stock shot up 15%. It's now up 30% in the last 5 days, record high, as the chipmaker reported a 32% revenue gain. With so much focus on the supply chain and shortages, joining us this morning is Onsemi's CEO, Hassan El-Khoury. Hassan, congratulations on the quarter. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.
I'm sure you've talked this to death the last 24, 48 hours, but for those who are worried about ongoing supply crunches, is this about as bad as it's going to get?
Look, I think it's we're going to see improvement. We're going to start seeing improvement, making progress towards what I call a balance of supply, catching up to demand. It's not going to be done through 22, so we're going to still be in the supply behind where the demand is. But there is supply coming online. It's going to start easing, but it won't get into balance probably until the end of 22.
Right. Those who know the industry well have been burned before, where there was a period of shortages and then a period of gluts. Is there any reason to think that this particular cycle may be different?
Yeah, look, I think that there is a underlying demand environment. We, for Onsemi, we're focusing on vehicle electrification. That's a trend that is just starting. And the capacity we are putting in online that is going to start coming online towards the end of 22 and through 23 and beyond is for the vehicle electrification. That demand is strong today. That demand is going to remain strong as more and more OEMs turn on models from ICE engines to electric vehicles. So that demand is sustainable. It's sustainable for the next decade. So putting capacity in place today in order to support that demand is actually a win-win for everybody, and it's not going to cause that glut you're talking about that historically we've seen in more steady industries.
Now, Hassan, you just completed your acquisition of GT Advanced Technologies. What does that deal tell us about your own strategic shift as a company?
So as we shifted into becoming a powerhouse or a supplier for electric vehicles, and more importantly, outside of the vehicle, what I call the sustainable ecosystem, which goes from renewable energy to electric vehicles, along with charging stations. So everything required to make that sustainable ecosystem, at the center of it is the intelligent power and the intelligent sensing that we're focusing on. Part of that new generation of power devices is silicon carbide. Silicon carbide supply assurance, we have to start with creating our own tools, our own substrate. That's what GTAD does for us. It gives us the ability and the capability to be vertically integrated all the way to what the OEMs need from us in order to get their EV traction inverters. But more importantly, back to the first question, it gives us the supply assurance of substrate, which is the raw material we need to create those devices. And by default, given that supply assurance and more importantly, the supply resilience to our customers.
Does inventory management change forever, Hassan? I wonder. At the OEMs, for example, is the lean sort of just-in-time nature of inventory management gone forever?
Look, I don't think it's gone forever, but we did take it to an extreme as an industry where it was too just-in-time. Anything taken to an extreme is not going to be beneficial for everybody. I also don't think having inventory everywhere in the supply chain is the solution for this. The main solution, if you think about automotive waste, root cause corrective action, the root cause of it is clear. The corrective action is not to shove inventory left and right and just stock up on stuff just in case. What is important is to get that long-term visibility, that 2 to 3 years out visibility of where demand is and what OEMs and our direct customers need. And then we, as an industry, will put the capacity in place today in order to service that demand 2 years from now. We're able to do that when we have that transparency and that long-term visibility. Because even if you have inventory and you have a disruption, what happens when you drain the inventory and you haven't built capacity to support it? So it's all about long-term planning. It's all about strategic planning. And more importantly, it's all about alignment from the semiconductor industry all the way through the end customer. In this case, in automotive, it's the OEM. That's what's going to get us there. And that's the engagements we're having today.